And our players and staff, hats off to them. It's a resilient group, and we were out here all week, and we're able to get that win. It was a really, really great effort by our players and staff, and really our whole football staff. I want to thank them, and I'm not going to sit here and name every single person, but there's a lot that went into this trip, and very grateful because everybody out there, we spent a great week at the University of Washington. Can't thank them enough either. Unless they're playing North Carolina, I'll be rooting on the Huskies, University of Washington. So can't thank Coach DeBoer and his staff enough either. So with that, I'll open up questions.
Oh yeah, Coach, the NFL security situation, what did they tell you about that?
Yeah, all they told us was a drone. And I've probably read too many CIA fiction thrillers, maybe too many Brad Thor books, something. So I'm looking up, and they're telling me to get over the sideline, and there's a drone. So some interesting thoughts going through your head when they told us to go to the bench, but luckily nothing happened.
And the play of the defense on that last drive, Grady's sack on third down.
Yeah, Zoe too, right? Zoe got one early in the drive, and it felt like a heavyweight fight, D-Led. That's a good football team, and I've got the utmost respect for Pete Carroll and his staff, and we knew it was going to be a tough environment. It's one of the better environments in all of sports. Coming up here to Seattle on the road, it's just loud. I mean, they've got a reputation, and they were on brand today. And so, for the most part, D-Led is never perfect. We talk about progress. There's a lot of things we can clean up. There's a lot of things I can do better, but very happy to get a win.
And luckily, the run game, you
Yeah.
stayed with it, and it
Absolutely.
busted open there in the
It did.
a little bit.
Yeah, and they're different, depending on the game plan. Thought we'd have a little more access there for some of the other guys, and so there's some things we want to do early, and we're never going to, we stayed with it, and it was cool to watch those guys finish the game. We needed a first, and hats off to the offense and CP for finishing it out.
Where do you feel like Cordero's maybe progressed as a runner even from last season?
Well, it's all of us. I mean, like I tell us all the time, it's not just me just speaking words. I mean, even though he's 31, he's continued to evolve, and he works to improve, and it's fun coaching him.
Where do you feel like y'all were able to exploit Seattle's?
Exploit. Well, it's just different matchups. You got different matchups up front. It's a different scheme than we've seen the first 2 weeks. So we'll continue to evolve. I mean, that's the whole thing, is how do we get better? You've got to be critical and objective, and I'll do that on the plane. I mean, we got a big game next week at home. Cleveland, they got a couple days jump on us, so we got to turn the page quick and get ready for a big game at home.
You have talked about feeling better about this team, but how important was it today to win a game to validate that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's about, Josh. You're right. I mean, we said it last week. No moral victories, but you got to be objective and understand there was progress being made, and it was good to get a win and break through. And so now the challenge is, can we sustain that? Can we improve with a big game coming up at home?
Can you assess Marcus's performance today?
Yeah, I thought, like all our players, never perfect, but he made some big plays for us. It's like, trying to be too cute before the half. I won't do that again. It's twice. You don't tend to do that, trying to be greedy. And, it's kind of he made some really big-time throws. Staring down, right into pressure, throws it to Drake London. He's hot. And situational, like I said, never perfect. Same thing with A.J. Terrell, right? He's got a man, Marcus.
A lot is made of the youth on this team, but when it really just steps up in those moments.
Yeah, so it happens, and we'll continue to evaluate that. And been around this long enough, we know you got to play 60 minutes, and maybe sometimes more. But there was no flinch on the sideline, and that's what's awesome. Birded one, they made a play it felt like a heavyweight fight. That's a tough team. It's a tough place to play. We got a lot of respect. They wanted to run the ball today, so did we.
It seemed like a good portion of the game where 5 linebackers with edge rushers out on the field.
Yeah, it's how you break it down. I mean, there's so many different looks. There'll be multiple. I know the personnel, whether you're trying to break it down as 3-3 or 2-5 or what it really is. Even guys like Lineman and Bernie, they played a little more today, which was good for them. We needed to continue to develop depth in these young guys, and it takes everybody to win.
What did you see out of Troy? Troy Anderson seemed to play like a ton more snaps.
Sure. We're bringing them along, and through some different packages. Again, go through the tape, and we'll talk about it as a staff and go put a plan in for Cleveland, see what we need to do to try and win that game.
With CP, people will look at that stat line and see 141 rushing yards and an 8.3 average per carry. But for this offensive line to get into the second level, what did you see from that group?
Well, we pride ourselves. It takes all 11. And when you got to defend, especially you got to defend Marcus in certain areas, and he's legitimately, you gotta account for him, and so that can change your number count. But we pride ourselves on everybody's out there that's blocking part of the run game. We don't have receivers that take plays off. That's not our mindset. They're going out there just like the linemen, and coordinated effort. And those guys were finishing, and sprung that big run by CP. So really, really good effort by our team. Like I said, it wasn't perfect. We know we got things to clean up.
The timing of the stoppage, it looked like the run game was rolling there. Were you at all frustrated because you
No.
kind of had it going the way you
You
wanted?
talking about when the drone?
Yeah.
It is what it is, you know. You can control things you want to. I can't, nobody can control that. I appreciate people looking out for everybody that's in that stadium. I mean, as we all know, there's some bizarre things that can happen around the world. I'd rather be safe. So that didn't frustrate me.
You watched Kobe a little bit. What was your sense of how he played at left guard?
Gossett,
today?
Colby Gossett, yeah. I thought he played pretty solid D-led. I had to watch the film, but thought it was a pretty productive day on the offense. We punted once. Obviously, you know, we're greedy. We were 3 for 4 in the red zone. We only had 7, is that right, D-led? You know, fact check me. Got us 4 for 7 on third down. Not a lot of third downs. That means it was probably a pretty efficient day. Anything else?
Have you ever been involved in something like that with a drone, just like something?
Not with a drone, but I can remember.
Anything that stops or nothing?
I think this game got slowed down when something caught on fire a couple years ago in Tennessee in the pregame. I think it slowed the game down for a second, but not a drone, not that I can think of.
And how pleased have you been with Drake, just the
Very.
impact that he's had
Very.
really in these 3 games?
Yeah, just as I've been pleased with a lot of those young guys. Tyler, Bernie, all those guys contributed. Frank Darby, you know, Frank's done a good job, and you know, with the plan, and happy to see him out there and contributing. Felipe a little bit, and we've got so many guys, young guys that are stepping up.
Anything else? All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Grady, Marcus, finish.
Okay, what was it like? What was the unit talking about when y'all had the chance to go out and close it out, and what happened on your sack there? Get free.
Yeah, we definitely had to go out there and close it out, and you know, we just had to respond. We talked to each other last night as a team and how we got to play complementary football, and we had the offenses back when they made that mistake because they put some points up for us when we were struggling. So came through at the end and got a nice sack on third down, and we got a nice pick by Richie Grant on fourth down. So defense came through and helped the team get a win today, but it took a team effort.
And the mentality to stay after it, to you know, get the stops in the second half you needed. How tough was that? And they had almost 300 yards at half.
Yeah, it definitely was a tough mentality to be able to keep head down, keep working. You know, we talked about it and just making something happen. You know, everything not gonna go our way, but we got to be able to outlast and keep going, and that's what we did today. And I'm happy to be able to come out with a win.
And what about the you know, how did you approach the different alignments and so forth as y'all were trying to do some different things up front to, you know, slow down the run, I believe?
Yeah, we definitely tried to find the answer for it. They got going early hot with Penny, and we knew that they was going to come down, trying to run downhill. We tried to make some adjustments, and we made some, but they still got a little too much on the ground today. We got to be better, definitely, across the board against the run. And but at the end of the day, we got the win, and that's what counts.
And how gratifying is it to get one after 2, you know, close calls here to start the season?
Man, super gratifying, super tough losses that we took the first 2 games, and to be able to win a tough one on the road in a hectic environment, and that just, you know, that's going to propel us in the right direction, you know, and just so that we can overcome and not have that dark cloud of when something go wrong, like, oh, here we go again. We was able to overcome and get a stop.
And the NFL security issue, how'd y'all try to, you know, stay ready and you know, what they say to you all when they told us to they were going to clear the field and so forth?
Oh, when that happened, I didn't really know what happened. Was that the long stoppage in the?
Yeah, the fourth quarter.
Okay, yeah, I didn't really know what happened. I remember asking my coach because we was making adjustments, and I'm like, we ain't playing for minutes. I really don't know what happened. What happened?
A drone flew over the stadium, and NFL security said they got to clear the field today.
Oh man, yeah, we can't have that.
What does it mean for your team, Grady, that being a veteran, for the young guys to be able to pull this game out at the end after you've lost a couple of close ones? particularly for the young players on the team?
As far as like Richie making a big play, it's definitely encouraging to see him step up, and make that play, because I mean them guys are ball hawks back there, and for them to be able to show that is good. As me being an older player and seeing him in year 2, make that big play in a hectic environment, man, it's awesome.
Anything else? All right. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
That's great. Hey, Marcus, how big? Let me get my video. After 2 close ones, how big of a win was this for you all?
Oh, huge. To start 0-2 is always tough. You kind of dig yourself in a little bit of a hole. But it says a lot about our guys, their ability to bounce back, and that was a huge win for us.
And the run game, it looked like y'all stayed with it, and it finally started to break some runs there and took control of the game a little bit with it. Was that the plan there?
Yeah, and that's sometimes how it's got to be, right? Seattle did a great job early on of kind of boxing us in, and we made some plays in the passing game. Once you're able to do that, it loosens it up, and our guys up front did a great job of just kind of pushing that line of scrimmage, and we found some ways to break runs and really break the game open for us.
It looked like early you all, 8 passes went to Kyle Pitts in the first half, and I don't know if they took them away or what, but did that help to open the run game that y'all were going downfield and so forth? Yeah,
absolutely. And, that's kind of the intent, right, is to be able to be multiple. Our guys did a great job of making plays in the pass game early to be able to open that up in the run game, and guys made plays.
And fumble there, that's a tough one when you're running RPOs, but, what happened? Did you try to pull it or he tried to take it? Or?
Yeah, that's on me. In that situation, just being smarter with the football. Selfishly, I was trying to go close it myself. I thought I could have got around the corner there. But it's all part of this learning process. We got a young back. This is my 3rd game again for a couple years, and those are processes. Those are things that we'll continue to grow on, and things we'll work at.
Drake's touchdown pass, was that a hot read? It looked like they were on you pretty quick.
Yeah, and again, Drake. Just his natural ability to feel zones. He felt it right away once that guy vacated it, that he could look quick. And it's always, like I said before, it's always nice to throw a 4 or 5 yard pass for a touchdown. And he made some incredible moves after that. But hats off to the kid. He's got good feel.
What does it say about the mental focus of the team, Marcus, that you guys were able to overcome drone delays and fumble and be able to come through with a win moving forward from a psychological standpoint of the team?
I think a lot of credit is due to our guys for sure. It was kind of a weird deal with the drone, but then a couple plays later we fumble and our defense comes out and makes a play. And last couple weeks we've been just talking about playing complementary football. Sometimes offense is going to stumble, defense has got to be able to pick it up, and they did at the end. As for us as an offense, we're going to have to go make plays sometimes, and that's just the way it is. And in order for our team to be good and to win these games, you got to be able to have those moments. And our guys on defense did a great job of pulling it out at the end.
Do you feel a sense of relief of getting your first win?
I don't know, not necessarily relief. I think the expectation for us, especially these first couple of weeks, we're to win games. So it feels good. I'm not necessarily like a relief. I think our expectation as a team is to be playing in games like this to continue to win and put some of these together.
Anything else? All right.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.